In 1970, a small Texas-based team showed up at Can-Am with a strange box-shaped car that terrified the racing giants. Instead of wings, Jim Hall's Chaparral 2J used two giant fans, stolen from army tanks, to suck itself to the ground like a vacuum cleaner. This is the true story of the genius machine racing couldn't handle, and why we're still talking about it today. Like the box it came in. That's what people said when the white, flat Chaparral 2J first showed up at Watkins Glen in July of 1970. The Can-Am series was known for its anything-goes rules, unlimited engine size, unlimited aerodynamics, and massive budgets from McLaren and other factory-backed teams. But here was Jim Hall's small Chaparral outfit from Midland, Texas, bringing something nobody had seen before. A car with no wings or curves, just flat panels and two huge fans at the rear that looked like jet engines. This wasn't just another race car. This was racing's greatest underdog story. Jim Hall wasn't just a driver. He was a Caltech-trained engineer who used his Texas oil money to build cars that outthought rather than outspent the competition. Born in 1935 and left without parents in college when they died in a plane crash, Hall combined brains with limited resources to create Chaparral cars. While McLaren and other big teams threw money at conventional designs, Hall looked for the unfair advantage through pure innovation. The 2J's most eye-catching features sat at the rear. Two 17-inch fans taken straight from an M109 howitzer artillery vehicle. These fans moved nearly 10,000 cubic feet of air per minute, powered by a second 45 horsepower Rockwell J-Lo snowmobile engine. Their job was to create a vacuum under the car, literally sucking it to the ground. When turned on, the entire car would drop by 2 inches. The main power plant was equally impressive, an aluminum Chevrolet ZL1 big block V8 producing 650 horsepower. This engine was paired with a semi-automatic 3-speed transmission that eliminated the need for a clutch pedal. With all of this technology, the car weighed a mere 1,800 pounds, creating a power-to-weight ratio that was simply unheard of for 1970. But what truly set the 2J apart was its revolutionary aerodynamic approach. Conventional race cars relied on wings that generated more downforce at higher speeds. The 2J's genius? It created constant downforce at any speed, even standing still. Around the bottom edges of the car were flexible skirts made of Lexan, a newly invented polycarbonate from General Electric. These skirts sealed against the track, creating a vacuum chamber underneath the car. With the fans running, the 2J would physically lower by 2 inches as it was sucked to the ground. The results were mind-blowing. The 2J could generate up to 2,200 pounds of downforce and pull 1.5 G in corners when competitors were struggling to reach 1 G. As Jackie Stewart, who drove the car, briefly said, "The car's traction, its ability to brake and go deeply into corners, is something I've never experienced before." Jim Hall himself admitted years later that it sticks so well that I never did learn how to dive it deep enough into the corners. You look at the corner, put your foot on the brake, and it stops. And you look at the corner and it's still out there. How did that happen? The 2J was unlike anything seen before or since. During tests, engineers calculated that with the skirts lowered enough, the car could theoretically drive upside down on the ceiling. While they never tested this particular theory, the car's performance on the track was undeniable. When Vic Elford drove it at Laguna Seca, he was the only driver to qualify under 1 minute on a track he'd never driven before. The next day, he smashed McLaren's lap record from the previous year. There was one problem, though: reliability. The separate fan engine was particularly troublesome. At Watkins Glen, dirt kept getting sucked in, disrupting belts and overheating the auxiliary engine. At Riverside, the fan system's crankshaft broke. The team was constantly battling mechanical issues while trying to develop this revolutionary concept. These reliability issues meant the car never actually won a race during its brief career. But while the engineers were fighting mechanical gremlins, another battle was brewing in the paddock. When the competition saw how fast the 2J was in qualifying, they knew they were in trouble. McLaren, whose dominance was seriously threatened, led protests against the car. Despite Can-Am's reputation for having minimal rules, pressure mounted to ban the 2J under the pretense that its fans and skirts were movable aerodynamic devices. The 2J's ban was extra frustrating because Hall had been careful to check the rules first. Quote, "We invited the SCCA to Texas to look at it before we brought it to the races, and they said it was legal," he recalled. "It was a bit of a surprise to me that they ended up banning it. That was my biggest disappointment," end quote. This wasn't Hall's first time having rules changed to stop his innovations. His Chaparral 2E had brought the first high-mounted adjustable wing to racing years earlier, another idea quickly banned after proving too effective for the competition's comfort. The 2J's story didn't end with its ban. Gordon Murray, studying the car's tech, created the Brabham BT46B fan car for Formula One in 1978. It won its only race before also being banned. Murray openly credited Hall's 2J as his inspiration. When ground effects took over Formula One in the late 1970s, big-budget teams were using ideas the small Chaparral outfit had shown nearly 10 years earlier. Unlike most old race cars, all 7 Chaparral vehicles stay together. Hall never sold any of his cars, seeing them as priceless despite being worth millions. In 2004, the Permian Basin Petroleum Museum in Midland, Texas, built a special wing to house the collection. The museum keeps all cars in running condition, holding yearly live drive events where one car is shown running. In 2016, Hall got back in the 2J for the first time in 30 years. For many fans born long after the 2J raced, their first time seeing the sucker car was in racing video games, especially Gran Turismo. These digital versions finally let players feel what the big teams feared, a car so fast it changed racing's rulebook. The unique sound of the 2J's extra engine and its boxy white shape are now well known to gamers worldwide, keeping the legend of the ultimate underdog race car alive. After just 4 races, none of which it finished due to breaking down, the most game-changing race car of its time was banned for good. Had the 2J raced for another season to fix its reliability problems, it might have made normal race cars look slow and outdated. The skirt and fan tech could have grown even better, leading to dangerous cornering speeds. This forced racing's rule makers to answer a basic question: should new ideas be limited for safety and fair racing? Jim Hall's vacuum car showed ground effect tech that would take over Formula One nearly 10 years later. Its airflow ideas, creating low pressure under a car, are still key to racing today, though in less extreme forms. The 2J stands as racing's true cutting edge. Tech so advanced it needed new rules made just to ban it. No other race car has caused such a strong reaction from racing officials before or since. So why was the Chaparral 2J banned? Because it was unsafe or because it was too clever? You let us know in the comment section below. Was it fair or were the officials scared of new ideas?